what's going on, Birdland? How are you? Welcome to another episode of Full Count Chaos. Always appreciate you taking the time to tune in to talk about the Baltimore Orioles, which is not on a lot of people's to-do list lately. It is a brutal time to be an Orioles fan, and every time we think things are starting to shift a little bit, they shit the bed. Want to hear from you, fullcountchaos@gmail.com, or anyway, you can comment, get a hold of me on X at fullcountchaos. Of course, now we upload the episodes on YouTube, where you can stare at me, staring at you, doing the episode. But a lot on my mind. I'm sure a lot is on your mind. A lot has happened in the past 48 hours with the Orioles. Want to talk about Albernaz. Want to talk about Dean Kramer and the Pete Alonso show that just happened the other night, or last night, as I'm doing the episode right now. Would love to hear from you. Real quick, of course, pinsandaces.com, 21% off. FCC25, head over there. Get what you need, what you like, 21% off. DistillUnion.com, FCC25, 20% off. Also, OldGlory.com, FCC25, promo code 15% off. Love my t-shirts, can't get enough. Head over there, oldglory.com. And of course, this podcast is part of Belly Up Sports Media. Also, want to remind you, keep bringing in the emails. Again, fullcountchaos@gmail.com. $50 gift card. Orioles.com. Just send it an email if you want to be clever. Explain to me why you want the $50 gift card. But don't forget, folks, come on. $50 gift card. I'm giving you 20% off, giving you $50 gift cards. I love you all very much. Always love hearing from you. All right. My stress level right now, being an Orioles fan, I'm at a 10. Stress level is at a 10. Can't get any higher. Or it could get higher, the way that the Orioles are playing, absolutely. But right now, stress level is at a 10. The Orioles got bent over and spanked with a hot iron paddle. They lose 14-0 against the Detroit Tigers, who are also struggling badly. We needed Dean Kramer to go out and have a decent inning. He did not do that. But hey, as long as they keep throwing out bobblehead night and Hawaiian shirt, everything is all good. And I'll tell you who's really having a tough time. And it's ironic to say that a billionaire is having a tough time. But Rubenstein, he comes in, buys this team, is thinking to himself, this is the perfect time to purchase the Orioles. The rebuild, they're going to be good for the next 8 to 10 years probably. Just going to put my feet up and watch the Orioles win. So right now he's like, shit, Mike, what the hell happened? But it's tough to feel sorry for a billionaire. Per Alive Sports, that was the first time in Orioles history since 1954 that they allowed a run in each of the first 8 innings of a game. Now, I checked my Excel spreadsheet and pros versus cons, and I've come up with that's not good. That's not a good stat to have next to your team. The worst shutout defeat the Orioles have suffered since 2004. They had to bring Chadwick Tromp out to end the game on the mound. Mike Elias, job well done building a winner. Job well done, Mike. Attaboy. I'm going to talk about Albernaz in just a second. Of my opinion, and I promised myself I would not judge Craig before the season was over. It's not fair. But there's just too many things right now pertaining to this season and Craig Albernaz and the decisions that he's made, and something that came across social media yesterday that just has convinced me Craig ain't the guy. I wanted to love Craig so badly. I wanted to be a Craig Albernaz fan. But it's not happening. I want to talk about him in just a second. Dean Kramer. Dean Kramer is one of those guys like Gunner. I'm just exhausted. I don't want to talk about him anymore. But we always talk about Dean Kramer. Yeah, he's a good number 5 pitcher to have on your team, sure. But he's not now allowed 14 runs in his last 2 outings. Back-to-back shitbag starts from him. He allowed 6 runs to the Red Sox last week. And July 1st was the last time he put together a quality start. But he gave up over 6 runs. No, what did he do? He gave up 1 run over 6 innings against the White Sox. But his season ERA has more than doubled since then, from 3.18 to 6.50. And this Dean Kramer situation with Pete Alonso, if you saw that Tuesday night, everybody's talking about it. I'm going to throw up the video here. If you're watching this on YouTube, Dean throws over to Pete. There he is right there. He's asking Pete, can you see? Pete should be like, can you fucking see the strike zone? But this is early in the game. Dean says, can you see? Now watch Pete's reaction. Yeah, dumbass. Yeah, I can see. Then he looks over in the dugout and he's like, what's up with this guy? What the hell? What is he doing? So it's just a bad look. Dean's had a reputation of already having a little back and forth conversations with Basayo and Adley, and it kind of looked, Dean's getting the reputation of, I don't know. I have never heard of Dean not being a good clubhouse guy. I've never heard of that rumor. I've never heard that he's butt heads. The only judgment I have is how he pitched, and 1 or 2 times, when back and forth. Lately, the one with Basayo, where it wasn't a good look. Whatever. So there's been back and forth pertaining to Dean Kramer, Pete Alonso. Should Dean have said that to Pete? A lot of people are calling Dean out, saying, you shitbag, get off this team. Pete's a veteran. You don't disrespect Pete. Others are saying, you're blowing this way out of proportion. There's nothing here. All he was doing was asking if he could see, and that was it. So a lot of people back and forth. 2 things here. Number 1, regardless of your opinion of whether Dean should have done that or what you think, in your opinion, Dean was doing, and was it a little abrasive on his end, Pete's reaction, that's number 1. His reaction, instead, he could have just given a thumbs up, or he could have just given a quick nod. Yeah, I'm good. And that's it. Everybody move on. Pete's reaction was very interesting, as if, this fucking guy, I've already had enough of you. I can't stand you. And now you're sitting here asking if I can see. Yeah, it's like if someone's bothering you already and you're not a fan of and you don't like, whether, you're in an office working and you're like, I can't stand that guy. And then he walks up to you and he's like, hey, is the printer working for you? And you're like, yeah. You'd be like, yeah, it's working fine. And you'd be looking at your coworkers like, what the fuck is this guy? Yeah. So that was an interesting response, whether or not Dean meant anything by it. I thought Pete, you'd think your average conversation, he'd give a thumbs up, move on. The second thing, and I don't see too many people talking about this. Dean, what are you doing asking your first baseman if he can see okay? The last thing you want is for the opposing team to see you having a conversation with your first baseman. Can you see okay? Save that for when you're in the dugout in between innings. What are you doing? I don't see too many people talking about that. Forget about whether it was a dickbag move by Dean and the response by Pete, and is there something there? What are you doing? Can you see? What if Pete responded, no, I can't see shit? Then Detroit's like, hey, guys, let's get that lead a couple more inches to the right. Hopefully, because Pete can't see the ball. Let's make Dean throw it over now. He just said he can't see. Even if Pete didn't, Pete said, yeah, I can see fine. Now Detroit's going, what was that about? Is there an issue there? Can Pete really not see? That was just stupid. Again, the baseball IQ every week that we're seeing with this team is very frustrating. I just noticed I didn't see too many conversations of that. And it's just like, Dean, you can't do that. Save that conversation for later. So that's my opinion. Is Dean getting the reputation of calling out his players on the field? Yeah, it's not a good look. I guess talk to other players, other pitchers. Look, pitchers are crazy. They're all nuts. But I just don't think that's a good look. Asking your first baseman if he can see. Not a good look as in it's disrespectful to Pete or he's calling out Pete. Do I think he was calling Pete out? No. My honest opinion's no. But the IQ level of don't let the opposing team think that Pete can't see the ball right now. You fucking idiot. That's my opinion towards it. Would love to hear from you. Again, fullcountchaos@gmail.com. Throw comments down there. How do you feel about the Dean and Pete show? Pertaining to Dean Kramer, just an awful outing. Just terrible. I get it. Hey, all teams need a number 5 guy, but Dean, just loves giving up home runs. Has a 10 ERA in the first inning. Can never seem to get out of half our pitchers feel like they struggle in the first inning. But I'm just exhausted talking Dean Kramer ball. But that's the only reason I wanted to bring up Dean. The Dean and Pete show right now. It's trending everywhere, and a lot of people have different opinions. And Orioles offense right now, they just can't hit. The 14-0 loss. I don't care if they would have scored 10 runs, they still would have lost. But without Adley, Blaze, and Basayo, this lineup is absolute dog shit. Jake Rill tweeted out the other day, since Samuel Basayo exited last Sunday's game with the right shoulder injury, Orioles catchers have gone a combined 1 for 26. That's a 38 average. Sam Huff, thank the Lord Jesus, we're not going to watch him play ball anymore. He was 0 for 9. Chadwick Trump, 1 for 12, average of 83. The only bright side lately, since Blaze has left, Christian Encarnacion Strand. Through his first 5 games, he went 8 for 20. That's a 400 average. 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, both which were records for any Oriole in their first 5 games. He's hit safely in 6 of his 7 games. God bless that man. That is what we needed. When Blaze went down, it's never easy to just say, next man up. Well, it's easy to say that, but to actually do it, that's a whole nother conversation. Next man up, no problem. So God bless that man. But I talk about it all the time. I've said it a million times on this podcast. Bad teams who play baseball, who's going to have a losing record, who's not going to make the playoffs, bad teams will look like solid teams every now and then. They'll get the 3-4 game win streak or 7 game win streak. They'll have a week where they'll look like a solid team. They'll have some games where they'll have good offense. They'll even have games where they might score 14 or 15 runs. Look at Detroit. Look at Detroit. There's an opinion, or there's a fact, and they score 14 runs. So my point is, bad teams will always go right back to losing quickly. You'll see him have a few good games, maybe a nice little win streak, and you go, hey, this could be it. Nope. Right back to losing baseball. And that's who the Orioles are right now. They'll have some fun games. They'll have some good times. The offense will score some runs. And they'll just go right back to really bad baseball. I received a text about Gunnar Henderson right before I started recording. I replied, I don't want to talk about him. That's another guy that I just don't want to talk about. If you tuned in because you're like, I want to hear what he has to say about Gunnar, I'm done. I'm done. He's 0 for 8. 0 for 9 bases loaded this season. That loss against Atlanta. I haven't talked to you guys since then. Bases loaded, bottom of the 10th, no outs. Here comes Gunnar. It's a damn shame. We're at the point right now where we all sigh when Gunnar comes up to bat with bases loaded. Or any time with runners in scoring position under 2 outs. We all sigh. Now, you still may be a fan of Gunnar and you still may have faith in him. Look, he's not doing terrible. Just he's struggling with runners in scoring position. And Albernaz, that big fat turd, for letting Gunnar go out every night above the 5th spot. He should not be batting above the 5th. He should be down in the 6th, 7th spot right now. But when Gunnar went up to bat and hit a line drive to first base, and the hit was, I think it was only like 75 miles per hour. I saw people going, hey, he got around on it. That's a good sign. Like, stop with the little league bullshit. Ooh, I'm so proud of him. He made contact. We're talking about Gunnar Henderson. But of course that happened. But it just sucks that when Gunnar comes up with runners in scoring position, you're just like, shit. Especially with bases loaded. He's struggling with bases loaded this season. But you can go ahead. I'm going to get to Albernaz here. I just want to give my opinion. I want to hear your opinion. Again, I'm going to always say fullcountchaos@gmail.com. Hit me up on X, in the comment section, whatever you want to do here. But, call me a butthead for saying this. I don't care. But egos will always get in the way of winning. Managers will always do it their way no matter what. General managers, doesn't matter what you would think makes sense. Jackson Holliday's been batting his ass off. What does Albernaz do? Wednesday's game lineup I just saw come out. Jackson's not hitting. He's not in the lineup. Ward, I understand he gets on base with walks here and there, but he's been struggling. Guess where he's batting? First. Gunnar, batting third. I get it. 1 through 9, Gunnar has the best average. Batting third, but come on. Let's do the eye test. Just go back and do the eye test. Stop putting them at the top 3. Ward and Henderson should not be in the top 3 of the lineup. Well, who else? I don't know. Anybody else? Mix it up right now. I like seeing Beavers leading off, by the way. That's been a breath of fresh air. But egos will always get in the way. I'm going to do it my way. I might go as far. I could sound like a bigger butthead. I could go as far as these managers. They go on social media. They see what fans are saying. They see that fans are getting on them, calling them names, saying how stupid they are for not doing X, Y, and Z. Yeah, they're going to go back to their way. Their egos. Your mind can't even fathom the size of the egos that these managers and general managers and owners and whoever have. But this is who they are right now. Nothing more, nothing less. Like I said, been saying all season, bad teams will always go back to losing baseball. They'll find a few days, few weeks of good baseball, and that's it. They've given up 63 unearned runs. That's 5 more than any other baseball team because their defense stinks. They did not build this team on defense. It is brutal. If who's ever in center field other than Cowser, it's going to be a rough day in center field. Tavares was out there. God bless that man. I know he hit a bomb Tuesday or Monday. But, man, watching him try to track down these fly balls, it's brutal. I mean, Beavers, I'm giving him credit for leadoff. He's doing well with his bat. But watching him play in left field the other day, whoo! 63 unearned runs. That's also the infield as well. I'm just very frustrated right now. I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep yelling into the mic. I apologize. I'm just, as you can agree. I'm sure your stress level matches mine. We just watched the owner at a press conference the other day say they couldn't be more pleased. That was Rubenstein. And I think that upsets fans even more. There's a way to say that you have confidence in the GM, but how you'd like to see a winning product on the field for the fans, how you feel for the fans, how you know we're frustrated. You have confidence in the general manager to figure this out, but right now, this is not where we want to be. You don't just say couldn't be more pleased. I see everyone talking about that as well. That's a conversation that we've been talking about till we're blue in the face. I just, once a week, I don't get to talk to you guys as much, which I do need to change that. That's something that I'm going to figure out here and try to have a little more conversations with you guys than once a week. But maybe pull Mike aside before the press conference and tell him, listen, I'm going to be a little aggressive here, but this is for the fans. Don't take it personally. Now, I don't think Rubenstein's, you'd say, yeah, Mike, he's doing a shitbag of a job. This guy's lucky he even has a job. Nothing like that. Just tell him, look, I'm going to say that I'm upset or I feel for the fans, or yes, we're not happy seeing the Orioles go out not having a winning record. We don't take losing lightly. Couldn't be more pleased. I think sometimes, again, I'm talking egos here. Sometimes the egos of the owners and the GMs and managers will always feel they are so much more smarter than the average fan. So if they spit out a bunch of mumbo jumbo, they think we're all just going to be nodding our heads. It's like if you're in a job at customer service and something goes wrong and you're trying to convince the customer, oh, these things happen all the time, or this is the normal process. Yeah, because you think you're smarter than the customer. The customer's not stupid. They know this is a bad look. They know this isn't how it's supposed to happen. So again, GMs, owners, managers, they just always think they're smarter than the fans. Couldn't be more pleased. Oh, okay. Well, then I guess everything's working out. Fuck out of here. Let's have a conversation about Albernaz. Tired of this guy, man. Tuesday night, Albernaz, and I'm looking at my notes right now, and I want to give credit to who sent this out on X. It wasn't me. I didn't find it. I just came across it. Somebody recorded this on their TV live and then posted it. Damn, I thought I had it in my notes. I like to give credit out because, again, I didn't see this. I just saw it getting passed around. Tuesday night, the Orioles are losing 6-0. You know, they're already shit in the bed. And things are just getting worse. And somebody caught, I guess the camera panned over to Albernaz, and he was sitting there being silly, throwing seeds back and forth to, I think it was Adley. And Albernaz was just sitting there being like a silly little boy. It's 6-0. You think Buck Showalter getting smacked around 6-0, or even Brandon Hyde would be sitting there tossing seeds around, being a silly little boy to the other players? No, Albernaz wants to be a buddy. He wants to be boys with these guys. He wants to be their pal. It's like a dad, you know, it's like a lot of these fathers that I see personally, and I would never give my opinion to anyone because I don't have kids. So who the fuck am I? But I could give an example like this. It's like a dad wants to be their son's best friend. So instead of being you still got to be the father role, teach them what's right, what's wrong, discipline them. They're 14 years old and you're buying them and their friends beer instead of teaching them right or wrong. That's what I feel about Albernaz. It's like, be their coach, be their manager, have fun with them. I'm not saying, punish them if they do bad. You're not eating tonight, Dean. You didn't have a good outing. Sit over in the corner. But I didn't like seeing that. Just seeing a lot of decisions that Craig Albernaz is making over and over and over, where it's just like, you're just not experienced yet. And I'm tired of this organization being a training facility for up-and-coming managers. Of course, managers said nice things about Albernaz. We talked about this over and over. They're not going to come out and be like, I don't know if you should hire the guy. He's got a great reputation. Of course, the guy knows baseball. But I'm not saying that if it wasn't for Albernaz, the Orioles would be going to the World Series. That I'm not saying. I wanted to be a Craig Albernaz guy so badly. You're talking bad about Craig? You can get the hell out. Get the hell out of my house talking bad about Craig. I wanted to love the man so much. Ward has 27 RBIs, 482 plate appearances. Albernaz keeps batting him cleanup and leadoff. He's just not that guy. These decisions with always talking about how he has a fresh bullpen is absolutely asinine. Friday night with Rogers, 88 pitches, throwing a great game. 72 strikes out of the 88 pitches. Albernaz pulls him because we've got a great bullpen. It's a manager's dream. That is a wet dream for your pitcher to go as far as he can without using the bullpen. Not Albie. He loves that bullpen. So you're hoping that 3 or 4 guys will have the perfect game and keep the game where it's at. That is a dream come true of your starter having a hell of a game going into the 7th, going into the 8th. Not Albie. Bullpen's healthy. Let's pull him and get that bullpen going. He loves that bullpen. Friday night, why are we pitching to Olsen against the Braves? 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs. You're pitching against one of the greatest batters. Walk him. If you're going to pitch him, bring in Wolfram. He's a left-handed pitcher. What are you doing? Why are you pinch hitting Mayo with a right-handed pitcher on Friday? I mean, just on and on and on. And I get it's hindsight, managers. Look, teams who win the World Series, throughout that season, there's fans yelling at the manager for the dumb decisions. That's always going to be how it is. But the simple things, the little things, the obvious things, not mad at him because he pinched hit this person, or I'm mad because why are you taking out your starter for a bullpen just because they're healthy? Why are you playing ass grab with your players when you're losing 6-0 and nothing is going your way? Keeping Gunnar at the top of the order. You're either worried about hurting his feelings, or when you extend him, Mike's calling down going, we got to remind him we had faith in him if we want to extend it. Whatever. Craig's not that guy. I would love to hear from you. What is your opinion about Craig Albernaz? What's your opinion about the Dean and Pete show? Lot to get fired up about right now. I mean, it's a lot to get fired up all season. But I want to hear from you. What's on your mind? Everything that's been going on. It's brutal being an Orioles fan. Till next time, see ya.